Hello dear students, this video is made for the students of English Literature of BA Part 2, and in this video I am going to explain the poem Ode to the West Wind that is written by Percy Bysshe Shelley in 1819, and this poem is an ode, and in the previous video I have told you about what is an ode, and this ode is addressed to the west wind. As you know that this poem was written in 1819 and is one of the finest of Shelley's lyrics. The first three stanzas are in praise of the west wind. From destroyer to the bringer of clouds, it moves rapidly over the Mediterranean to the Atlantic. So this first stanza celebrates the elemental rush of the wind. Here the poet invokes the wild west wind, and he is saying that, O wild west wind, thou breath of autumn's being, thou from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are driven like ghosts from an enchanter fleeing. Here the poet symbolize a effect of west wind, that west wind is not only wild but it is the breath of autumn season. So wild west wind is a precursor of life in autumn season. Now in the next line the poet speaks that, thou from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are driven. Means when this west wind approaches, all the dead leaves are driven from the ground like ghosts from an enchanter fleeing. Enchanter here means a magician, or here the poet describes an image that like a magician flies or drives all the ghosts. In the same manner, here the west wind, which is the breath of autumn season, it also drives all the dead leaves from the ground. And in the next line he speaks about the color of the dead leaves, like yellow and black and pale and hectic red, pestilence stricken multitudes. So in these lines the poet speaks about the the faded colors of the leaves, like the leaves are of the colors yellow, black, pale and hectic red, means dimly red. All these colors of the leaves looks like the leaves got epidemic or got uh, extreme diseases of plague. O thou who chariotest to the dark wintry bed. Now the poet again invokes wild west wind, that he is saying that, O wild west wind, you who chariotest to their dark wintry bed, means you are the one who drives all the dead leaves to their dark wintry bed, means under the ground. You carry them, you carry the dead leaves under the ground, and the winged seeds where they lie cold and low. When the west wind drives all the dead leaves and bury them under the ground, in the ground they lie there cold and low, until each like a corpse within its grave, until thine azure sister of the spring shall blow. Here the poet again talks about cyclation process, the cycle process of the season, and here he says that when you drive all the dead leaves to their grave, they they stand still like a corpse there in the grave under the ground, and they remain in the same position until thine azure sister of spring. Here the poet speaks about the spring season, and the wind that blows in the spring season is mentioned as the sister of this west wind. So here he speaks that the dead leaves driven by you in the autumn season is make live by the spring season, by the wind that blow in spring season. And here the poet mentions that that wind is the azure, means the blue sister of the spring, of the west wind. In the next line he says that her clarion over the dreaming earth and fill driving sweet birds like flocks to feed in air with living hues and odors plain and hill. Here again the poet sketches an image, and he is saying that whenever we saw a shepherd to graze his sheep, what does the shepherd do to assemble the sheep? He blows a clarion or a trumpet. Same like in the situation here, the poet says that her clarion over. Here is the here he mentions an image. Here he sketches an image that the clarion of the spring season waken up the dreaming earth, and it seems like the sweet birds on the plants, it seems like they are the flocks to feed in the air with living hues, means multicolored vegetation is present in the spring season, and all the plains and all the hill fills with the odor, fills with the fragrance of the budding new plant, budding new flowers. Now in the couplet section of this stanza, the poet speaks that wild spirit which are moving everywhere, destroyer and preserver, hear, oh hear. Here again the poet invokes or addresses the west wind, and he is saying that you are wild spirit and you are moving everywhere. In the last line of this stanza, he uses antithesis, and he is saying the destroyer and preserver. Here he mentions the story of west wind, that not only it is the destroyer, but this west wind is also the preserver of the seeds that lie under the ground. And when the time comes to sprout these seeds, till that time west wind performs the action of a preserver. So here he gives here he benefits the two roles to west wind. First is of destroyer and the second is of preserver. In the second stanza that starts with the lines, thou on whose stream, mid the steep sky's commotion, loose clouds like earth's decaying leaves are shed, shook from the tangled boughs of heaven and ocean. So, as we have seen that in stanza first, the effect of west wind's power and force is shown on the land part. Now, in this stanza, the effect of force and power of west wind is described in the airy part of this universe. So now the poet speaks that thou on whose stream mid the steep sky's commotion. Now he mentions that now he mentions that the west wind is in the steep skies commotion, means here he speaks about the violent atmosphere that is created by west wind in the sky, that skies stir or bustle makes sure by the blowing of west wind, and loose clouds like earth's decaying leaves are shed. And here in the when the poet sees the loosely stringed clouds in the sky, he thinks of the same process, or thinks of the same method that is he applied in the first stanza. So he is comparing both the situation, that like on the land part the west wind drives all the dead leaves, here in the sky part, or the in the in the airy part of the universe, all the loosely clouds behaves like the decaying leaves on the earth, shook from the tangled boughs of heaven and ocean. And when the poet sees the loose clouds, it it is mentioned by the poets that it seems that all the clouds are shook from the bows of heaven and ocean. Now, in the next lines, he says that angels of rain and lighting, they are spread on the blue surface of thine airy surge, like the bright hair uplifted from the head. So in these lines the poet says that angels of rain and lighting, here he referred to the clouds, and he is saying that all the clouds are the messenger of rain and lighting, and they are spread on the blue surface. Blue surface means sky. They are spread in the sky of thine airy surge, means in the surface of the sky all the messenger of rain and lighting are spread. Now in the next line he sketches an image, and he is saying that all these loose clouds looks like the bright hair uplifted from the head of some fierce Maenad. Here I would like to mention what is a Maenad. Maenad is a female votaries of Bacchus, who was the god of wine, and Maenad are refer to the very infuriated lady. So um, here he mentions that all the clouds that are spread in the blue sky, they looks like that they looks like an furiated lady's hair uplifted from his head, even from the dim verge, means even from the dim brink of the horizon to the zenith side. So the space covered by the cloud are from the dim brink of the horizon to the extremity of sky, the locks of the approaching storm. Or and when the west wind blows, all the clouds are spread overall in the sky, that it looks like some fierce Maenad's locks is uh, spread in the sky. Thou dirge of the dying air. Now he again invokes west wind as saying that you are the dirge of the dying air, you are the elegy of the dying air, to which this closing night will be the doom of a vast sepulchre. Here he again makes a portrait of an image. He is saying that, O wild west wind, you are the lament song of the dying air, and this closing night is your doom of the churchyard roof, vaulted with all thy congregated might. Congregated means uh, be assembled or collected. So here he mentions that, O wild west wind, you are the dirge, you are the lament song of the vast sepulchre, roofed with all thy congregated mind, means the roof is made by all the collected vapors and clouds from whose solid atmosphere, and by making the collected vapors and clouds, by making the roof of this churchyard of collected vapors and clouds, you have made a solid atmosphere. Black rain and fire and hail will burst over here. Now he speaks about the various activities that is performed by the west wind in the sky. All these activities are black rain and fire. Fire here means the lightning, and hail will burst over here. So in the couplet section of this stanza, he mentions the power or the force that is produced by the west wind in the sky part of this universe. And he is saying that you, O wild west wind, you have created the solid atmosphere of black rain and lightning and hail. So in these two stanzas we have discussed about the force and the power of west wind on the ground and in the sky. In the third stanza we will study about the effect of west wind under the water, and the fourth and fifth stanza is expressive of personal anguish to be followed by hopes of a happier future. So that's all about today's video. Thank you all.